gunshot wounds to the back. Why would an unarmed suspect be shot, let alone from behind? All the police would say is that, Brown had a history of resisting arrest. If they think that arguably irrelevant information is releasable, why not release the body cams? All of them. I say all of them because 7 deputies have now been placed on administrative leave. 7. Top of that, 2 others have resigned. 1 deputy retired in the wake of this shooting. That's 10. So the big question is, why no tapes, despite public outcry, despite the fact that the governor just demanded their release? According to state law in North Carolina, there has to be a court order to get body cam video released. And from what the sheriff said today, it is the district attorney who won't let the videos out.
The sheriff's office is custodian of the body cam footage. But the body cam footage does not want to be released by the district attorney at this time due to the investigation. He does not want to hinder the investigation. There is absolutely nothing to hide. The video has not been released. We're waiting on the district attorney.
Nothing gives trust like transparency. How would it hinder the investigation to release the tapes? The victim is dead. The police all know what happened there, and they know what is on the body camera video because they were there. So how would it hinder it? The body cam videos of the Daunte Wright and Ma'Khia Bryant shootings in Minnesota and Ohio were released hours after they were killed, and that mattered. In North Carolina, even members of Brown's family say they weren't allowed to see the footage when they met with the sheriff today. And yet, tonight we will learn more. Demetria Williams was a witness. She knew Andrew Brown, she was his neighbor, and she saw the police there and part of the action, and she joins us now on Primetime. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, this is the morning after the George Floyd verdict. Am I right?
Yes.
Set the scene for me. It's about, 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and what happens?
It was about 8:40 when I heard a shot, and I woke up and proceeded to run down the street. And when I got close to his house, I seen officers standing behind his car as Andrew Brown is trying to flee away, to leave the scene, and they're shooting.
So you knew it was Andrew Brown in the car because you know his car?
Yes.
And he's driving away from the officers?
Yes.
And they were actively firing at the car?
Yes.
Was anybody firing back at them?
No.
Then what happens?
And as they started shooting, the car started going across the grass, and it proceeded and hit the tree, came to rest at a tree. But by then, he was dead, and he was slumped over when the officers opened the car door. And they snatched him out and started doing chest compressions on him. After that, I guess they seen that they couldn't revive him or bring him back. He was already gone. And then they put a sheet on him. Then I seen a few officers come back across the street and take the rammer and ram his door in.
And they went inside?
Yes.
Did they take things out of the house? Because supposedly they had arrest and search warrants.
I didn't see anything.
Was there anybody else who had a weapon that was firing at police, or was anybody else in the car with Andrew Brown?
No, sir.
Now, do you think that they shot him through the vehicle, or, well, that's all you saw
Yes.
was him in the car. So you think they shot him through the vehicle?
Right.
And
Yes, that's the only way possible.
And you know that he was gone because when they opened the door, he seemed unconscious to you.
He was slumped over. Yes.
And you say that he lay there for a long time afterwards. Is this true?
Yes, yes, yes.
What was this like for you, witnessing this?
It was inhumane. And it was sickening to me because Andrew Brown, that everybody knew, that we called Drew, was not violent. He never toted a gun. So to me, I think it was just like overkill. They murdered him. That was trying to flee away.
The deputy sheriff put out a statement early on that Brown had a history of resisting arrest. Had you ever seen police at his house before? Have you ever seen him run from police before?
No, I've never seen that. If nothing else, he always turned himself in. He always did his time, everything.
Now, to the extent that this was drug related, your feeling is whatever he did, he wasn't known as a local drug dealer. He wasn't pushing any product on your street.
No, that I know of, no.
What was his reputation in the neighborhood?
He was a good guy. He wasn't a nuisance. He was none of that. He minded his business. He was a jokester. You know. He wasn't confrontational.
You know him a long time?
Yes, I have.
Did they see you?
All my life.
All your life, you know him. Well, I'm sorry then.
Yes.
I mean, this is bad any way you look at it, but I'm sorry that someone you knew this long in close proximity like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they're gone.
Yes.
Did the cops see you watching them?
I'm pretty sure because they told me before they even put the yellow tape after everything was, happening, they turned back and seen me and they told me I had to step back. Because then they was putting the yellow tape and stuff up.
Did they interview
And
you?
then I stood out there no cop interviewed me. I stayed out there from the time it happened to the time they took the yellow tape down.
Did you call the police or you figured there's no need, the police are here?
It wasn't no need to call.
Right.
They
They're already
was,
there.
They was there.
But nobody called you?
Yes,
Nobody
sir.
contacted you from the DA's office or anything like that? Police investigations to ask you if you saw anything?
No, the SBI did,
The SBI, who's that?
but nobody else. The SBI.
That's local law enforcement?
SBI? Yes, yes.
Okay, and they interviewed you and asked you what you saw?
The State Bureau investigators.
Right. Now, Demetria, if you can think back, how many officers do you think were firing at the vehicle?
It was several. I can't say that. I know that they did have their backs turned to me, so I can't approximately say how many or who, but it was several.
And that first shot, you don't have any idea whose shot that was. You don't know if it were Mr. Brown shooting at the police or the police shooting at him.
No, because I know he definitely didn't have a gun.
How do you know?
Because like I stated, he doesn't carry guns. And I was there from the time it happened to the time, and they never recovered a gun from the car. They never even, they never recovered anything out of the car.
How are you doing with this?
I'm doing.
You have the George Floyd verdict one day, and then this the next morning.
Right.
How do you reconcile those two
And
things?
it hits right at home. I can't. It's disturbing. Sickening.
On Tuesday, I got to believe you felt a different level of hope about how the system works. And then what happens Wednesday
Yes.
morning?
And it made us distrust them again.
What do you think about the fact that the DA won't release the tape because he doesn't want it to hinder the investigation?
How is this hindering the investigation when that will only tell the truth if that's what happened?
Ms. Williams, thank you very much. I know it's cold, and I know that your head and your heart are hurting right now. And I'm sorry for that, but I really do appreciate you help us put some light in the darkness here because we don't know what's going on because they won't release the tapes. So thank you.
Well, he's not here to have a voice, so someone has to.
Well, I appreciate you doing it for us. Good luck going forward. Let us know if we can help.
Thank you.
All right. And so look, that's those are very interesting. I'm processing at the same time you are, but what's the main issue? Okay. Why were they firing? You have two scenarios. They were fired upon. Okay. If fired upon, absolutely, imminent threat, you can return fire. Was there imminent threat if he's driving away? Can you shoot at someone fleeing? Yes, but you cannot shoot at someone because they are fleeing. There have to be other conditions present. You have to believe that that person is a threat to someone else or to you, although that's hard to argue if they're running away from you. So there are rules of engagement for police deputies. Firing on a car that's moving away is a different level of analysis. Now, how does the law in North Carolina get changed so that we don't have to do this? Look, luckily, we have Demetria Williams, who's at 8 o'clock in the morning. She not only gets up, she runs towards gunfire. I mean, that is a rare form of citizenship, and she did it. And if she hadn't, we wouldn't know anything. So we're going to bring in the law enforcement, legal pros, lay out the standards, lay out this situation about the disclosure, but also action at the scene. Next.